All right, so check this out. This is one of my favorite parts in my Crazy Life video, and he was a part of it. And I wanted to make sure that I respectfully asked him because I shouldn't say this maybe, but it was not actually planned. It was not a stunt planned. He was riding, I don't know what it is, maybe you know, it's an electric kind of scooter with two wheels. And he was pretty good at it, but he had a wipeout in the yard. And I thought, man, this would be so awesome to put in my video. So I made sure that I could use all the video content, and he was okay with it. He was very good about it. I think it contributes to my video and makes it much more enjoyable for me to watch. It was unexpected to me, so I was videotaping him, as you can see here. I don't know, can you see it all right? And watch this wipe out. Did you see that? It happens very quickly. One of the most difficult things in the world for me to do, period, was to connect with other humans compatible with my way of thinking. So throughout my life, I usually was a tag along. The best way that I could connect with other people is if, I indulged in what they're doing. But if I want to really do something, I've noticed if you keep going about life like that, for me, then if I really want to do something, even those same people will not do something with me. Does that mean the problem's people? Or how about the problem is Tracilyn's perception was that she was not taught right throughout her life enough that it was understood that you do what's in your brain's heart. See, I thought even my heart was down here. I didn't even know about the heart in your brain until recent years, a couple years ago. Okay, and when it hit me, then it all made sense. It's psychological. We're here psychologically, and we have use of our bodies. Often too many times we submit to use our bodies for things that the government pressurizes us to maybe, or the laws, the system they call it. Other people, we do a lot of things that we would not naturally do because it's like we're taking orders from some kind of invisible mean existence of something that is disciplining us in a way that if we don't do what it tells us to, we're going to endure pain in other areas that we come up with in our mind that, well, I guess we better do this or else we're going to suffer consequences that we don't want. And sooner or later, a lot of people that do endure that will snap, and it will be that they have no other choice. They have to surrender to the truth within themselves. You can't keep on going and being a part in some manner of others that the whole time I've been working on my music here, I don't have time to even go into other people's lives at all because I ended up in a situation where to do what I desire to do, I use my hands and my feet for that, and it consumes all day of my life, every day, for years on end. And it's not the way I would have taken the approach if I wouldn't have ended up in the circumstances I did. And I wouldn't have ended up in the circumstances that I did if I would have been taught how to get my needs met when I was at a point in life that I need to get them met now. And I cried to a lot of people, and not one person told me exactly how I could do it. That's for me to figure out. But I did hear a lady by the name of Joyce Myers tell me to keep trusting God. And she let me know that money's not the answer. Joyce, not much money is the answer. That's how I've been taking care of myself. God's been taking care of me with money. Got out of all those circumstances because this is the next subject I want to talk about. You see, what Tracilyn realizes is I shouldn't hold back what's in my brain, and a lot of people gave me grief throughout my life, periodically, because evidently all I care about is the way I look, or I care about the things I care about, which I do. But evidently I should feel bad because I enjoy time in the sun, because I like to wear certain outfits, or I love to wear my hair a certain way, okay, or jewelry, or little simple things like that make me happy. I get a new blouse and I'm all happy and everything, really? So, but then there's other people that will what? Kick your butt because they can't stand that you getting a blouse or a nose ring makes you happy. And by the way, you shouldn't be happy. Why? Well, because you got to do life the way everybody in the whole wide world has made choices and does it. The large percentage of people, the way they do things, that's how you should do it. People in the music business are notorious for believing that you should do things that they've done at some point in their life to get evidently where they are. You shouldn't go through your own life endeavors and make your own choices and stay away. For instance, a lot of bands played a lot of dive venues, okay? And a lot of them did it for mediocre, okay? The pay, the living circumstances, huh? Oh, they're real rock stars now, aren't they? And they're playing to what? Trashy barroom crowds that jump up on their stage and dive off into other human beings, and that's rock and roll. And they have lots of sex with people and bang needles in their arms because they're heroin addicts and they love to drink lots of alcohol and parties, and let's go get pizza afterwards, right? Lots of food, lots of strangers in bed for the night. Who needs a condom? That's rock and roll, is it? Not for me, it's not. But that's what they tried to get you to do. Only I was self-employed for over 7.5 years, and all I had was an acoustic guitar, like this one. And God left me know right from the beginning, you don't have to play like a lot of the other guitar players. That's not what it's about. In fact, I have learned, here's a secret for you. It's all about where you are psychologically. See, I started to realize you don't even need an instrument to go into a bar room. You can show up, and chances are you can get paid just to show up. Wow. Why is that? Because nothing in this world is about what we think it is, and something loves us as much as there's something that does not love us. And that something that loves you will take care of you in all and any circumstances. That's exactly it. Some people call it a creator, the creator. Some people say that I am the creation, you are the creator. Some people say God. Some people say Christ is in me, takes very good care of me. Okay? It's not your talent. You can be extremely talented and be poor in every area, not just financially. There's lots of talented people. And you would step into their world and realize right away you don't want their life, not their circumstances. I'm not trying to be smart, but you hear this dominancy in the entertainment industry. There's a lot of jealous and bitterness that lingers in it, and if you make choices that appear to be more heavenly, for instance, you want to get people upset in the entertainment industry? If you do connect with more of like a soulmate, somebody who loves you and is willing to take care of you, or financial, whatever it is, big or small, and you have a home and you work something out together, you take care of them, they take care of you, and then you work on your music so they're supportive, and you don't have to go do it for a livelihood. You just go do it as you want to, and you promote it online. Do it that way, and you'll find out that they will do everything that they can to wreck your relationship. And I know this sounds crazy, but they go directly into your brain, into their brain, into the thoughts. And they try to create a lot of problems to divide the relationship up. Now, I wasn't in the relationship that I was in for that reason. I really did not know how to get my needs met. And I was hoping, as they were hoping most likely, that it was going to be temporary. Meanwhile, I'm still networking and meeting other people. I don't see a way in, and I don't see a way out. If the doctor at Harrisburg Hospital psychiatric facility would have just told me, I will help you no matter where you live in the United States. We can do it on Skype. We can do it on the phone. All you have to do is take this form and go to any Social Security office in any state, and they will assist you. All they have to do is call my office. I will tell them that I am helping you. I am seeing you as a patient. I am seeing you and counseling you, that your problems are real. So that Social Security knows that Tracilyn Michael didn't just show up lying to them. Okay? In other words, they could have acted as a witness and testify that I was in the hospitals, that I was honestly telling them what I was going through, and that they were there to guide me and assist me in legal matters, to keep me safe in housing and make sure I have food. and health care so I could go to the doctors or whatever I needed to go to. By the way, this is services that should all be offered by God's family. Where's God's family in America? Is there any? Because according to the Bible, everything belongs to Jesus Christ, and I claimed that I believe in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, then equally everything of the earth is part of access for me too. I don't work for it. I believe for it. Now, where's the Christian family at? In America or on the planet? Evidently, there should be some kind of magic card that I can go and buy what I need so I don't have to work for it and I can continue to serve the Lord without interference with other mankind telling me I can't do something. Anybody who knew me knew I believed in Jesus Christ. And anybody who knew me then knew that I was homeless and I needed help. And they see that as weak. I think it takes a strong person to announce, I need help. But more people will make an ass out of the person who's saying it. That's why I don't like Bon Jovi, for instance. Because when I was strong and I was playing for 7.5 years in venues, I played over 1,000 paid performances, not to mention all the open mic nights I went to, and I've been in and out of New Jersey, Philadelphia, Lancaster County. This is all by Bon Jovi's territory in New Jersey, right? Why didn't he come see me when I was strong? He waited until word found out that I was homeless. Until he found out that I started to transition from male to female. Until he found out that I was an escort and had problems with the law. Now all of a sudden when I'm busking, not playing venues anymore for a few $100 a shot, now all of a sudden these recording artists are showing up. And do you want to know something? These same recording artists are people like Chris Christopherson and Willie Nelson, who both had other people, girls, sing their songs, and mysteriously they died. And they made their whole careers based off of a death of somebody who sang their music. Do you think it was an Illuminati sacrifice? Do you think it was a satanic sacrifice? Do you think it was a deal they made with the devil or people in the music industry? Huh? Who was it, Patsy Cline? Did she sing a Willie Nelson song? And wasn't her torso all over the forest in what state? What about Chris Christopherson? What happened to the drunk that Janice Joplin was? Huh? The drug addict. The one who just threw herself at anybody who had sex with her, evidently. That's what I hear. Sang Bobby McGee. And what is Chris Christopherson known outside of being an actor? Bobby McGee, that's right. And she died. Pay attention to these recording artists that had other, especially females, sing their songs, and now all of a sudden, where are they? Did they die? They died. Oh my gosh. Well, this makes them very commendable and wonderful people in the public's eyes, don't it? Yeah, Janice Joplin, she was a swell person. Had a very childlike spirit, didn't she? Chris Christopherson is somebody who swung by a telephone pole when I was busking downtown in Cincinnati at Fountain Square. John Bon Jovi is also somebody who stopped by to get a business card. They're all associated with each other. When a person steps up like this, who is a gorgeous, loving person, okay, childlike mentality, and they know that they are going through difficulties, they connect to their brain, whoever they are. It doesn't matter if it's them all or if it's people who are associated with them, Satanist, they're all one big happy family. They go into the brains of the recording artist. They try to wreck everything, including their relationships, including their online presence or in media. They try to get you to alter words and songs to change things and keep you away from what you would naturally be. And then it's like they're holding their foot over your head while they're taking things from you, and then they go and use it. And one way of looking at that would be, look at any of my songs that I've released or worked on since 2010 and see and notice uncommon words that were used in my lyrics that coincidentally were used in like Bon Jovi songs since 2010. things that were not normally in his songs or in the songs of anybody. Since 2010, I have heard this before, that it's not necessarily just him, it's the people around him that use other recording artists that are not signed and have the exposure that he does. But I don't want to talk about it for the rest of my life, but I had made, a verbal announcement that he better never step in front of me again. Okay? Take it as you want to take it. I have been being harassed since 2016. In this home, they have penetrated into my brain. They have been on my computer. They have been wrecking my recordings. The whole time I'm recording was the hardest thing I ever did because my computer has like a spindle, an RPM, it's like 5,400 RPM, and they keep jolting it with electricity, which causes it to sputter. My audio sputters, so they also use electricity on the speakers. They literally, I saw them on my computer, which means they can take any files they want, which means they can delete files, which means they change the timestamps. On any file, they can change the timestamps. They locked up one of my external hard drives. They locked up a couple of my other hard drives to the point that I had to buy other hard drives. Okay? What does the government say about stuff like this? Huh? Because isn't this government money that I'm receiving from Social Security by the taxpayers of America? Didn't they contribute to this? Didn't I contribute to this while I was working? And the stuff that I'm buying, my resources, is literally for my own livelihood, because as I'm recording this and stuff, I could someday end up doing live shows again with my music. I could. And therefore, they're stalling me, they're slowing me down, and the things that I'm buying with my money that has been given to me, they are destroying my property, which means they are destroying the taxpayers' property. They're destroying the government's property. They're destroying Tracilyn's property. They're disrespecting God. This is Satanist. What kind of military operation goes directly into a person's computer? They want to blame it on all these hackers. Let me tell you, the hackers are federal agents. That's exactly what they are. And if they're not federal agents, they're people who are associated with federal agents. They're the same people who tried to set me up for prostitution in Cincinnati. They're the same people who tried to set me up for prostitution at a hotel when I first came out here in Columbus, Ohio, which I will explain later on. It's the same group of people that David Ashcraft from LCBC is aware about, because he's the one who said, let me see, there was nobody in the auditorium, and he told me what? Do you think we're alone? In other words, we're not alone. That's number one. Number two, the same detective that pressed charges against me and called me guilty, okay? I had the choice to plead not guilty. I don't have time. I'm losing everything. They put money in my hand. Then they said I was guilty. That's not true. My exact words were, what is this for? Not, yes, I will have sex with you for money. And if I said that today, what the hell does it matter? That's not prostitution. It's an agreement. Prostitution is going against your heart, who you are. It's not about agreements. You know when the law starts in? When somebody claims, like I did. I got raped by a licensed pastor when I came out here to Ohio. This is the same psychopath who chanted over me while I slept on the floor. And I peeked up and I looked and I thought, my God, what the hell did I end up in? But meanwhile, I don't really have anywhere to go, do I? No, because I'm listening to Joyce Myers, who's telling me to keep trusting God and to stop being selfish with my life. And I don't need money, I need to trust God. I'm gonna be calling Joyce Myers Ministries. By the way, I was in Kingdom City, Missouri, when I was surrounded by what appeared to be federal agents. I was in Lebanon County when I was walking back at the mountain I love, when I saw two black vehicles storming past me. Okay, they try to do that to intimidate you. In other words, they stalk you, they follow you. Do you know that the government, most likely, if it comes to money, they are paying for these people to stalk people that are not doing anything but trying to stay alive and live? Harassing people, that's it. These are the same people that when I went to New York, I saw their black cars stalking me when I was walking. When I would walk somewhere and I'd turn and I'd see their black cars parked down the road, they'd turn around and they'd park and just sit there and watch me. This is the same group of people that spilled blood all over my body in Warwick, Rhode Island, and tried to get me to drink it, by the way. I don't know what caused a large group of satanic people or Fed agents or whatever else to stalk me. I've been having problems throughout my life. I claimed that I swore that I saw aliens when I was first born in the 70s. And I'm not alone with this. I met other people who also claimed the same thing. I also mentioned that somebody tried to hijack me and get me to climb into a Falcon car when I was under 3 years old. I was just learning how to walk. They pulled alongside the road and I started to walk up towards the car, and my mom came around the corner and screamed. And then from that day forward, she told me, I told you, never approach a stranger. Don't ever get in a stranger's car. I also claim that there appears to be like a chip in my head, which means that there could be a group of people who monitor me everywhere I go and have been wanting me for some reason. Do they like to kidnap American babies and use them for something? Do you think sex? Do you think slavery? Do you think they eat them or something? And also, somebody's been trying to get me to go down to Florida, and they talk through humans. That's what I'm going to share with you about this to give you a better idea. They've been trying to get me to go to Florida, only Florida's nice weather and everything, but in my opinion, I don't think Florida's that great of a state. The weather may be nice, there's ocean, but, okay, so you're at the foot end of America. Everything that says for me, the places I would like to be, more so or not, is more vibrant, which would be the central East Coast or the distant West Coast. Okay, like California and stuff, like just a lot of people feel that way. Okay, nice weather. I'm not big into the Florida thing. I'm just not. And it seems like there's a lot of evil people that are down in Florida. And if you notice when it comes to retirement, they constantly try to get people to retire to Florida. For me, they have become more and more magnified. These view counts on YouTube, they're not real. This stuff here, some of it is real and a lot of it is not. Okay, when you see people with millions of views, chances are millions of people or people did not watch it millions of times. Okay. This whole mask thing, you can believe it. It might be real. I don't want to say it's not. I don't think it is. I think it's more, there is a large group of people who are killing us. And if they're not killing us directly, they're killing your immune system. They infect you. They make you sick. In other words, if you read psychiatrist books too, you will find out that what? They say the same thing in their, if you pay attention to their writings, that you will learn that there is no sickness. Most of what we think, that's why they attack the brain, psychological. Then you go to a doctor and you tell them the symptoms, and then the doctor has this long panel of things. Well, this is most likely it's one or two or three of these things. We'll run some more tests. We'll take more blood. The blood has to go out to be tested. And when the blood comes back, it comes back with results too. Is it real? Did you go to the establishment to find out if it's real? And when you donate blood, does it always go to help people, or does it go to Satanists who like to drink your blood? Well, welcome to planet Earth, where we were living very shelteredly in our thoughts. And now maybe not everything is the way that we once thought it was. The subject matter started to magnify in my life. It was very frustrating to me because a lot of people would not understand. Yes, at times in my life, I was thinking about being like an adult entertainer, exotic entertainer, a dancer. Okay, want to learn how to dance, or I practice to dance, wear nice clothing. I'm thinking innocently, okay? And I understand that you got to be careful because it can lead into all kinds of things. Now here's the thing. I did not, and in time, as I came out in my transitional journey, and I felt I was doing what God asked me to do, and I really do feel God. It's in the Bible. It's in alignment with Scripture, okay? Everything that I made my choices with is very close in alignment with Scripture. Though you might not perceive it like that, I'm convinced. So no mistake here. Transgenderism is not satanicism. Transgenderism is lack of understanding. We're all transitional, psychologically, and there's an inner truth inside of us. The Bible helps us and assists us and guides us into the truth within ourselves. When you surrender to the truth, there's a lack of understanding and compassion in the human race for it because they don't really know. They're not familiar with your truth because your truth hasn't shined through long enough yet for them to digest it. So people who are closest to you might not understand and be weirded out by you. Now, when I got a few jobs and things weren't working out and I didn't know what to do, and I had a dog that I loved a lot, and I knew I couldn't just stay with somebody, I couldn't just have somebody taking care of me, I ended up stumbling across Craigslist like a lot of people did, and I decided in a manner to post online, and maybe, I didn't know what I was going to meet, my first time, maybe I could end up meeting others and things could occur that I could take care of myself or, at least for now. And that ended up turning into a full-time occupation as an adult entertainer. Okay? It may sound trashy to some people, not trashy. That's not the approach I took. I had standards, I had morals, I remembered everything that I was taught through life by people that I admired, and I applied them even as an entertainer. And because I had prior experience as an entertainer, singer, I was very good with entertaining, okay? Very good. And because I had a past history of masculinity, and I took karate, I wasn't too scared for my life. I was everything. My security guard, my booking agent, my promoter, the model. God showed me, when it gets down to it, you. It's about you. Yes, it's about God, but it's about you. You're going to get through this life with you, focusing on you. And you better surrender to the truth when you do stuff like that. Period. Your best bet is to surrender to the truth and stay focused on you. That's how you best can love humanity, your fellow mankind. Be the best version of a human being that you can be, and don't compare it with other people. That's where we get lost. Be the best version. Look at you. Are you happy with you? Do you like the way you talk? Do you love the way you walk? Do you like your attitude? Do you like the way you dress? Do you like the food that you eat? If you were to videotape yourself and you watch yourself, your mannerisms, are you satisfied? Do you like the way you walk? Do you like the way you smell? You want perfume? Cologne? Deodorant? You need a bath. Stay focused on you. And your fellow man, well, what? Whether they announce it or not, you'll start to witness the fact that they appreciate it. A lot. Wow, where did you come from? I came from taking care of myself. That's where I come from. And there's too many times in the Christian community, they'll tell you to get your mind off yourself. That's Joyce Myers. Get your mind off yourself. And a lot of people in the Christian community will try to show you, like LCBC was notorious. There's problems all around the world, 8,000 miles away from us in Africa. Well, there's problems here, in my kingdom. This is my kingdom. This is my temple. I have problems. And the problem is I'm listening to you tell me that, like Joyce Myers, other people, what? They have it tough. You think you have it tough? Other people have it tough. Yeah? What if our own individual was to care about us first and foremost and maybe always? Maybe. I don't know that. You would naturally want to take care of people you love. You naturally would see somebody in tragedy and you'd want to be of help in a lot of situations, right? Most people would have a hard time walking by if there was a tragedy, an accident, something occurred, felt that somebody was going to die. If they didn't, or somebody didn't, reach out an arm, I'll help you. You got to make that judgment call. But trying to manipulate people that other people have it worse, how do we know where a person is psychologically, considering where eternal existence is maybe? Maybe we live forever, and maybe we're a great distance from where we would be if we'd stop caring about a whole lot of other things and start caring about ourselves and our circumstances. For instance, I've been wanting to record music and do live performances not alone my whole life. The only time I ever played with people is if I showed up at their shows. Sometimes they showed up at mine, people. But the reality is, I did what I did by myself. I've done 3 albums now, working on my 4th, with a 5th in mind. I wanted to co-write every one of those songs, or at least some of them. Maybe 1 or 2. I'm 47 years old. My first attempt was when I was like 11 or 13 or something. None of those songs are co-writed. I never co-wrote a song in my life. And stop making it all about you is what the Christian community is saying. Learn to get along with people. I'm trying to get along with people. I don't know how to get along with people. In fact, I learned in the music industry, whenever I try to connect with people that I feel would be healthier relationships, not just for me, both parties. Guess what? It's too intimidating to them. I don't know why. I'm not that great of a guitar player, but I am at what I do. I'm not that great of a singer, but I am at what I do. I don't know why it would be intimidating to other people. I'm very friendly. I'm loving. Maybe that's just it. Your standard's too high in yourself, and it repels people. Well, there you go. I don't think like that. When people look at you and they'll tell you what, like these military people did down here in the Oregon district. It's more than about what you look like. What are you talking about? Looks matter. It matters. Hey, I don't know about you, but I don't want a dick and ugly person, okay? To me. Maybe somebody else does, but let's be honest. I don't want to. Would I with somebody I love if they weren't perceived as too pretty? Well, then chances are I would see them as pretty if I would, because I'm not attracted to just the physical. A lot of times we don't know what each other is talking about. My idea is pretty is somebody's psychological standpoint on where they are. How do they treat me? How do they treat others they're around that they claim they love? How do they treat themselves? I'm not saying I'm a judge of them, of others, but I'm a judge for myself. I have to be careful of who I'm around, don't you? For instance, I don't want to be around somebody who's abusing the people in their relationships that I perceive. Just because I don't want to be around it doesn't mean this person's bad or not. I understand there's a whole lot going on, but that doesn't mean I want to be around that. I have my own issues. So, I ended up being an adult entertainer. It started off a little nerve-wracking, and then I started to be more at peace because I realized it seemed like God was taking very good care of me. And what I mean by that is I stayed true to my morals the best that I could, and I also allowed myself to, through fantasy, live out different things that I've always wanted to do in my life, especially with another human being. And with that being said, I tried to be safe, always, number one priority. I tried to be fun, and I tried to have a very healthy attitude in a manner that said this is only temporary until I can think something else out. Meanwhile, I was not shy of talking to anyone about what I was doing. I considered being an adult entertainer a legit line of work, okay, a very good paying one. And I knew that it wasn't because of age, and it wasn't because of me physically in any way, but I knew I didn't want to do it for always. I wanted to do other things that meant something to me. So I was okay with myself, okay? What I wasn't okay with is how corrupted the law was, to be honest with you. Police officers, undercover agents, people who stalk adult entertainers and try to cause problems on purpose. Every one of them, a Fed agent and an undercover detective, looks at adult entertainers as every one of the adult entertainers is guilty. They're all prostitutes. And I bet you they would agree that that's the way their motto is, according to their law. According to the Bible, they're the prostitutes, and they're the evildoers. And in my opinion, the law is nothing more than an excuse and reasoning for people with bald heads or stubbly little crew cuts and ego problems to go around and abuse other innocent, loving, caring people. And I think the law should be expelled, gone, removed. A peace officer, somebody who understands a life officer instead of law enforcement should only tend to an adult entertainer that has been abused and declares that and cries out for help. Not somebody who's living their life and they're going through their own things and a cop comes in and frames them, creating more hardships in that person's life. I can testify, and I'm going to, especially in the state of Pennsylvania where it happened to me. Okay, York. See, some people believe that there's a statute of limitations with laws, and other people believe that if you still exist in human form today, then it's as good as the day it happened. And whether you took a guilty plea or not, there's reasonings that things occur. What's more valuable than going to a county judge to plead guilty or not guilty? It's going to God's courtroom, which is everything in existence. Some people would say, let the people decide. I've told people that's why, like I talk about to people in the music industry, I'm not afraid to use names. By the way, a lot of people's names in the music and entertainment industry is fake. Mine's real, which already lets you know that I'm not a coward in areas that a lot of people are. Because a lot of people use a fake name for entertainment purposes for reasons that I'm not stepping on, but they like to live their private life. I believe that God is in and through everything and is watching over me and in me at all times and says there's no such thing as private with God. God knows all the details, even in the deepest, darkest places of the earth. Read the Bible. It says that. So don't live to please man, but live in a way that's honoring God with your life. Don't be a judge of another person. Who knows where they are psychologically? God's bringing us closer to God. I wanted to get away from adult entertainment. I was thinking like maybe part-time even, because there's things I liked and things I didn't like. One thing I didn't like was the dependency on it was my only means to survive. That's exactly it. Doing it part-time, I thought, well, for a while anyway, it would be fun. I definitely like being with guys, and I love being role-playing, and I love modeling, and I personally am a very sexual person, so I'm okay with a lot of other things. But as I was trying to get away, even to have a break, it was wearing me down and stressing me out because in order to stay places a lot of times, I would have to, even if it was somebody's home, I would have to pay them more than it would cost for me to stay at a hotel. But I wanted to get out of hotels, at least for a season of time. So sometimes I did it. In other words, there's a lot of people who think you're using them if you just stop by their place and say, can I crash on the floor tonight? Am I using people? You think so? Can I sleep on your couch tonight? I don't know why people don't look at that person and say, my God, you need to come in out of the rain. You need to stop living in a manner that you're living and rejuvenate yourself. Instead, it's, oh, you're using me. Is that it? Yeah, I'm using everybody in the whole wide world. Why can't I get a job? Why do I have to be self-employed anyway? Why don't the government give me my God entitlement rights so I have use of all things and I don't need to consult with a man except for God will pay that? I'll be using it, and I don't pay taxes because I don't believe in it. I don't believe that's God's way. I believe that's the enemy. Why are we paying taxes when everything belongs to God? And everything belongs to us, at least the believers. Maybe the economy collapsing is a good thing if everybody's in on it together. Why don't we just all together just throw away the economy? No more money. Let's all just start living righteously off the land, helping each other to have beautiful homes, to protect ourselves, clothing and stuff. Even staying with the gentleman I was staying with here in Heber Heights and Beaver Creek, etc., in Ohio, and other people that I was meeting outside of being an adult entertainer. No matter who I was meeting, it's not just because I'm a good-looking person, okay? I am good-looking. You're good-looking too. we're all good looking to someone. If only God. We're good looking. And one of the more difficult things is whenever you're around somebody else, the only thing it seems like you're good for is a quick encounter with having sex, and then your personal problems are irrelevant. They're your problems. I think that you wanting sex is somebody else's problem, probably your own. It shouldn't be mine, and I shouldn't be here to serve that. But when you listen to Joyce Myers, she'll tell you to stop doing things for money, and it's selfish of you. Care about somebody else's needs for once in your lifetime. Is that it? Because I never cared. That's why when I asked my mom if I could buy her a house, it's very obvious I didn't care about her, right, at the time. When I did all the things that I've done for others, it wasn't like I cared about somebody else other than myself. I say carry yourself the way that you desire to carry yourself. If you're happy with yourself, it's good enough. It's not about helping people or not helping people. But know this, your leader should be doing more to assist you in a manner that you can be self-cared for, at least as much as you're able to. And money goes a long way in an economy world. How do we get that? Where are these Christian leaders, that know the Bible like I know it? I'd love to talk to you sometime. One of the most frustrating things is constantly meeting people over and over again, and everybody you meet, everybody, whether in the cross-dressing community, the trans community, not so much. Cross-dressers, gay men in dresses, not every one of them, but a larger percentage than not. It's more for other reasons than a transsexual it is. A transsexual, it's their entirety, where a cross-dresser seems to be like a fling on the, side in their private life, especially so they don't lose their occupation or their life standing with other relationships. So they do things privately, and then especially when a transgender's around, it just seems like it's more about sex. Cross-dressers seem often, a lot of times, like they're transvestites, and they're in denial. This is very frustrating for people who would like to live their life as what is perceived to them anyway as normalcy, and not always be having sex with everybody they cross paths with. It gets very frustrating, irritating, to the point that you want to kick them in the face. Leave me alone. Care about my problems or stay away from me, because I care about my problems. And they're easy fix, Joyce Myers, if I can just figure out how do I get money. A little bit of money will go a long way for me. Maybe someday I'll be able to talk to you about that and throw some money in your face and show you that I'm not like other people. You see, when I was self-employed as a singer-songwriter, entertainer with my acoustic guitar, when I quit, it took me a year and a half of in-depth prayers. I believed God wanted me to quit. He wanted me to quit because a lot of reasons, and one of them was the sale of alcohol and the trashy environments that most places that sell alcohol are. Okay, I don't want to go into the details of that right now, but I remember saying words that if I have to carry more than myself and a guitar or a microphone onto a stage and do any more than a 2-hour show, I'm not doing it. I'm not interested. In other words, I'm sick of a lot of the portion that's involved in maintaining what I did. And I also told myself, if I'm not a millionaire, I don't want to do it, which means money matters to me. By the way, I wanted a house someday. I never owned a brand new car, and I never once had a vacation in my life. A real, all-expense paid vacation. And I often wondered, why can't I fly in a plane first class or private jet? What's wrong with the picture here? I'm just as talented as any other human being on the planet. I have something to offer. What's going on? And I'm also a believer in Jesus Christ, which means that I should be able to get the very finest of treatment on planet Earth. The very best resources, if that's what I want. Hey, Christian leaders, so you think you are. Not much. To me. Why? Is there a card or something? What am I missing? Paperwork that says I'm a believer? And I get whatever I want, and man doesn't have the right to arrest me for every little tiny thing that they say is illegal. They don't have the right to put money in my hand and say that, I should be arrested. got to come down and be fingerprinted. I realized the person that I was with reminded me of people that I had in my life prior that didn't have the same standards as I do. And therefore, they were willing to sleep with all kinds of people, including people who did have HIV. No offense to anybody. I'm not. Well, what if I got HIV? Well, I prayed often that God would keep me safe. And I'm not going to be bold and say I will never get anything, but I have learned I better not sleep with anybody ever again, most likely, because the enemy is out to get me. And the enemy uses human beings to get at me. And I would have to also say that that's not just me, it's all of us. Evidently, it hates human lives, whatever it is. Read the Bible. It's very close to stuff like that, the evilness. And with that being said, I realized that the whole meditation of what was perceived as suicidal and stuff was coming through either computer-generated artificial insemination to my brain and continuously playing like audio and confusing me as to whether it was my thoughts or not, or it was directly a team, like they gang up on people. Was it Asian? Is it Hindu Indians? Is it Koreans? North Korea? South Korea? Is it Russians? They gang up on people. And they try to drive you fucking nuts. All those cases in mental institutions that they claim they hear voices, hallucinations in their head, that's them, the military. Other people torturing other people with CB radio technology type stuff and beyond. And they try to, break up relationships and try to manipulate them into doing things that would be perceived more as grotesque, leading them into more sicknesses and death-like circumstances. Things that would not be if you were following the direction in the sense of leadership for heavenly, peaceful, loving kingdomship, even here on earth. They were into being with multiple people, and listen, I've been with quite a few people myself. I've even been, and I indulged in an orgy myself, okay? And with others. I slept in bed with many. The thing is, there's a difference between what you're doing and things that are true inside of your head that you knew that you desired ever since as far back as I can remember. But you start to psychologically acknowledge that it doesn't seem too common. And maybe, just maybe, if you're not meeting too many people who think like you're thinking, maybe it's never going to be, and you have to start to be okay with things. This happens to a lot of people. It's very common, and I had fun while I had fun. But one thing that always bothered me is that if I have a standard, that's the kind of people I would sleep with. And it's pretty broad. When it comes to men, for instance, I've often said I care about friendliness, cleanliness, not as much as it comes into immaturity, intelligence. I love people who are intelligent, mature. When it comes to like genetic girls and stuff, or there's a whole lot more involved, even including physical characteristics. When it comes to doing more in-depth intimacy, there's different measures as to what I would be willing to do voluntarily and enjoy and indulge and appreciate. And there is a high standard, and I was one of those people who were known to what? Have some of the prettiest girlfriends ever in the city I was in. And I did not sleep with all of them. It wasn't about that. But I was known for that. So that's kind of an example. And I'm not making that up, and I'm not bragging. Obviously, there was many reasons why. And a large portion is, it's kind of one of those things that you don't know how to be, and you hang around others, and you're hoping some of that will kind of enter into yourself. You learn the ways of other people. Instead of hanging around with the masculine energy and picking up their traits and all that ego and You know, the way they talk and stuff. You're around somebody who may be perceived as very exotically good looking. Cleanliness is different. The way they groom themselves, the way they talk, the things they enjoy doing in life. So you kind of hang around that. It's not that you want to necessarily have sex with them. Kind of like, an atmosphere in itself. Like if you ever went to, do you like mountains? Do you like suburban? Do you like oceans? What do you like? It's kind of like in the human race, what do you like to be around? In hopes that that environment will also kind of mesh in with yours in a way, and you'll learn maybe from it. And some of their ways that you're attracted to will start to become more dominant in your way of life. So I was always very understandable that everybody lives differently, and some people want to sleep with multiple people. I met people back when teenage years and stuff that had more than one girlfriend, for instance, and like I would go to parties and there would be like a guy there and he'd have 2 or 3 girlfriends and they were literally his girlfriends. So I was already introduced to what I am thinking is pronounced as, I looked it up, polygamy? Is that it? Polygamy? Say it for me. I don't know. But anyway, the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. I am not downing anybody for any reason for that. And I feel that, in my opinion, happiness is where it's at. And if people are happy, it's not a danger to anyone else for people to be with what is more appreciated by them individually, which is kind of like friends and family and extension. Rather than one wife, they believe in having a couple wives. Rather than one girlfriend, they believe in having a few girlfriends. One blonde, one brunette, maybe different personalities, different reasonings, different heights, characteristics, who knows. I'm going to have to download this because I am almost out of it, but remember, polygamy. I'm going to go into my other phone because I want to see what the difference would be now that I've been on my video camera the whole time I've been here. This is Sony camcorder HD, and I'm going to go into my cell phone and see how that appears because I'm going to edit this all together. Okay? I hope so. And I want to take off where I'm letting off, and then hopefully I will be done. I did not want to talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours today. Okay. This is kind of like giving me a break from recording. I have 10 more days to go. And I'm finally done so far with how far I wanted to go for now so I can remaster my 3rd and a large portion of my 4th album before I continue on this year to add more songs to my 4th album. All right, here we go. I want to go get that.